Are you thinking about getting an Alaskan Klee Kai, but you want to know the best things about owning an Alaskan Klee Kai before you take the plunge and bring home one of these mini huskies? My name is Kieran. I've got two Alaskan Klee Kai called Copper and Skye, who are over here taking a nap. My wife and I have shared our lives with Skye and Copper for the past 7 years, so we've got a fairly good idea of what life is like with Alaskan Klee Kai. And I'm going to share our 6 favorite things about owning an Alaskan Klee Kai to help others who may be thinking about getting an Alaskan Klee Kai or just want to know more about the dog breed in general. Before I get started, I just want to point out that these are my personal favorite things about the Alaskan Klee Kai breed, but that is not necessarily reflective of every single Alaskan Klee Kai, and other Alaskan Klee Kai owners may have a completely different perspective to me and may have had a different experience with their Alaskan Klee Kai. So the first thing that I love about Alaskan Klee Kai is that they're small dogs but with big personalities. I guess it shouldn't come as a surprise that Alaskan Klee Kai do have big personalities, considering they are related to the Alaskan Husky and the Siberian Husky, which are two big dogs with big personalities. If you've got any social media platform and you watch any type of dog content on social media, you'll probably have seen a talkative Siberian Husky or even a yelling Siberian Husky at some stage. So you'll likely know that they're very vocal dogs with big personalities. What I like about Alaskan Klee Kai is that with Skye and Copper, we have found they both have big personalities, but they come in a much smaller package, which is much more manageable. Now, I must admit, I grew up with German Shepherds and large rescue dogs, so I initially did want to get a bigger dog, but Yasmin had her heart set on an Alaskan Klee Kai since she was a kid, and she ultimately talked me into getting Skye. And then when it came to getting a second dog, we decided to go with Copper because we wanted Skye to have an Alaskan Klee Kai friend. Now, just from a practical purpose, if you are a husky lover and you would like to get a husky type dog or rescue a husky type dog, great thing about Alaskan Klee Kai is that they're much smaller. They come in 3 sizes, standard, miniature, and toy, and they're perfect for apartment living, provided you do give them sufficient mental and physical stimulation. Copper and Skye have lived in apartments in California, in London, and also in Bath in England. We've never had any issues with them living in apartments, always been able to adapt to apartment life. Provided we have met their exercise and mental needs, they've been very happy dogs, despite living in a smaller space. The second thing I like about Alaskan Klee Kai is that they are very active, but they're also very adaptable to each individual situation. Now, I've always been a fitness enthusiast. I used to be a rower when I was in my teenage years. I've always loved playing soccer. I've loved playing rugby, and I also love to go running. So as an active person, I really wanted to get dogs that would be active with me. And although Skye and Copper are really small, I actually found that they love going on runs with me. When we lived in the Cotswolds and we lived in Bath, we would regularly run 5, 10, and even sometimes I ran 15Ks every single week with Skye and Copper. Now, I will admit that 15K was slightly too much for Skye. Copper could have kept running all day, but Skye did love doing the 5 and 10K runs with me. I always found it incredible how these little dogs had such incredible engines. But like I said earlier, considering they're related to the Alaskan Husky and the Siberian Husky, I guess it shouldn't be surprised that they do have incredible stamina levels. Now, from our perspective, sharing life with Skye and Copper, we have found that they do need regular exercise. We do try to walk them at least an hour every day, a walk in the morning and a walk in the evening. But as business owners, and life with a toddler can also get crazy, we can't always get out for an hour every single day. And we find that Skye and Copper do okay, provided we do give them some mental stimulation inside the home. We usually play scent work games. Skye and Copper love to find treats hidden around the house or find toys that are hidden around the house. I would say they're highly adaptable, so although I do like to take them on runs, I found that they enjoy going on challenging hikes too. There's plenty of Klee Kai that I've seen online that enjoy sports, such as dog agility and other things like that. You obviously have the option of taking them to the dog park. You could do training games, you could do scent work games, or if you're someone like my wife who struggles in any physical way, my wife has pelvis problems. If I'm out of town and she has to look after Skye and Copper, she just takes them on 3 or 4 short walks throughout the day, even if it's for 10 or 15 minutes at a time. That really keeps Copper and Skye satisfied. And the other thing that we found is that Alaskan Klee Kai are big couch potatoes, certainly Skye and Copper, and they love nothing more than sprawling out on the sofa for most of the day. In fact, although you might watch our videos and think Copper is a really loud dog who spends most of the day
Copper, good morning!
He sleeps most of the day, like he's doing right now. So the third thing that I love about owning Alaskan Klee Kai is that they're a very fastidious breed. There's no doggy odor. We often joke that Skye and Copper are 99% cat and 1% dog, and that's certainly the case when it comes to cleaning and grooming themselves. Skye and Copper always clean themselves every single day, whether it's their paws, whether it's their legs, or even their chest. Now, if you're thinking about getting an Alaskan Klee Kai, you're definitely going to need to invest in a good dog brush and a good vacuum. And there's no getting away that these dogs do shed a lot and do require a lot of grooming. That is a potential downside if you don't want to deal with the shedding and you don't want to deal with vacuuming your house because of all the dog hair on the ground. But if you can get past the shedding and the grooming needs, then I believe Alaskan Klee Kai are relatively low maintenance dogs. Our breeder recommended that we only bathe Skye and Copper twice a year. And like I said at the start of this point, they don't really have a doggy odor. In fact, a lot of our friends and family have come over and remarked how Skye and Copper don't smell like dogs, and there's no dog smell in our house. Further evidence that Skye and Copper could actually be cats is the fact that they don't like getting wet and they don't like getting their paws muddy. They're the total opposite to golden retrievers and labradors. If they do get wet and muddy when they're out on a walk, they will spend the rest of the day trying to clean themselves. Now obviously we do wipe them down and dry them off, but that doesn't matter. They will still spend the rest of the day on the sofa or in their dog bed, licking themselves and trying to clean themselves as much as possible. So if you are someone that doesn't like doggy odor, that's not to say I necessarily have any issues myself with having a doggy odor in my house. I do love the fact that with Skye and Copper, there is no doggy smell. Fourth thing that I love about Alaskan Klee Kai is that they make great companion pets. Now, if you go on the Alaskan Klee Kai Association of America's website, they do talk about the fact that these dogs make great companion pets. In fact, the founder, Linda Sperlin, wanted to create a dog that looked like a husky, had the personality of a companion dog rather than a working dog, which would be typical of the Siberian and Alaskan Huskies. On the Alaskan Klee Kai Association of America's website, they do say that you will find an Alaskan Klee Kai may become particularly bonded to a member of the home. And we have found that certainly to be the case. If you're familiar with our content online, you'll probably know that Skye is very much a mommy's girl and she's very bonded to Yasmin, whereas Copper is a Velcro dog when it comes to me, and he usually is my permanent shadow and follows me around everywhere in the house or outside. They both want to receive affection and love in different ways though. Skye likes to cuddle us, and usually that's under a blanket and between our legs, and that's her favorite place to be throughout the day. She'd happily take a nap there most of the day if she could, especially if it's Yasmin who's on the sofa. She's been like this since she was a puppy. Copper, on the other hand, isn't so much a cuddler. He tends to overheat much more easily, and he usually wants his own space when he does take a nap. But what Copper loves is neck scratches and belly rubs, and he'll regularly come up to us throughout the day asking for neck scratches. And if he hasn't had any that day, and it gets to the end of the day when Yasmin and I are reading on the sofa, he'll usually come over and have a few words asking for a neck scratch. So while Skye is bonded to Yasmin and Copper is bonded to me, I would say overall Alaskan Klee Kai are very affectionate dogs, and Skye is affectionate with people that she meets. If you came into my house right now, Skye would be excited and all over you. Copper is a little bit more aloof, but overall I would say they do make great companion pets. So continuing on from my previous point and further emphasizing the difference between Skye and Copper, I would say Alaskan Klee Kai are very playful dogs, but I have found that my Klee Kai are playful in different ways. Skye loves a tug of war. That's how she engages with me and Yasmin when she wants to play. She'll bring a toy over and she wants us to pull it out of her mouth. She gets a big kick out of this, and it's one of the few ways that you can get Skye to speak. If you were to come to my house right now, or when we have family, friends, or strangers over, she'll usually bring a toy. She'll want to engage with whichever new person's in our home and try to get them to play with her. Like I said, usually with a game of tug of war. Copper is completely different. He's more like a Labrador and a Golden Retriever in the sense that he's very ball obsessed. He loves to play fetch, especially with tennis balls. So when he wants to play with us, he will usually get a ball, or usually what happens is I'm practicing with a football in the backyard and then he wants to get involved and he'll yell at me until I kick the ball for him and he can go fetch it. Also, another playful element with Copper would be the fact that he's very vocal. If you've seen any of our viral videos, you'll know that it's usually because Copper has been extremely vocal and has had something to say with a certain situation. And Copper's playful side does involve being vocal with Yasmin and I. So like I said, if he wants neck scratches or wants something in general, he will come over and he will talk to us. Now don't get me wrong, Copper does not spend the whole day barking at us. In fact, he actually doesn't bark that much. I've been filming here for about 30 minutes and he's not barked at all, apart from when my brother-in-law came into our property. But otherwise he's been really quiet, and that's what he's like most of the day. Final thing that I love about owning Alaskan Klee Kai is that they do tend to be generally very healthy dogs. Now, if you've watched our videos and you've watched our YouTube videos in particular, you'll know that Skye is a really picky eater. And we have struggled with Skye's pickiness in the past. When she was being picky with her food, that would lead to digestive problems and she would usually vomit bile and we'd have to go to the vet and sometimes even the emergency vet, and that was quite costly. Since switching to a combination of raw dog food and air-dried dog food, we found that Skye is really happy and extremely food motivated. She no longer lets Copper finish her food for her, and we haven't had any issues with Skye's health since. With Copper, there's been no problems at all, and in fact, the only other times that we have been to a vet been an accident. Like the time when I might have thrown a ball in Copper's face by accident. Like I said, he is a Velcro dog and I wasn't watching where he was, and unfortunately he did get a ball in the face on that particular occasion. But overall, they've been very healthy dogs and we haven't struggled with any health issues with them at all. Touch wood. So there we have it. Those are my 6 reasons why I love owning an Alaskan Klee Kai. If you've watched this video and you have a Klee Kai and you have different reasons that you love the breed, do let me know in the description below. I'd love to know what you love about the Alaskan Klee Kai. If you don't have a Klee Kai and you want to learn more about this breed, then check the description below too, because maybe you can find some links to other articles that I've written that could further help you in your researching of the Alaskan Klee Kai breed. But that's all for me for now, and I'll see you in the next video.